Welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. It is Friday, August 5th, 12:29 p.m. here in the Arizona desert. And let's get this started. Got some interesting news and some charts to look at and such. So we're going to get started. Let's say, let me send this to a couple people. Sorry, I forgot to got some of my list to send this to. All right. So once again, welcome home, Bitcoin truth seekers. Friday, 11:29 p.m. here in the Arizona desert. It is August 5th. So, BitcoinLEP.com got more for you there. Links to stuff that I mentioned and such. This is an interview I did recently on a different podcast with Crypto Love, also known as Randall. I'll put that in the live chat. It's about basically being a motivated person. He's a longtime crypto YouTuber, very, very good. His channel is definitely worth a follow. Check out Crypto Love. Anger from Ukraine's backers after damning amnesty report spotlights human shields. This is a big deal, this article. And I mention it because this does affect the market, and I think this may affect the market positively. So I don't really have a lot of good thoughts about Amnesty International. I think they're in general kind of something in the globalists' pocket where they can talk about somebody's mean and they've done these mean things, and that's a reason for a regime change. I'm not that impressed by them overall. Allegedly, I'm not making any accusations. I'm just saying they don't impress me. The thing is, so they recently came out and they talked about some, basically the Ukraine government, or you might say more likely the militias that the Ukraine government does not necessarily have control over, and some other assets on the ground that I won't mention, have been using civilians as human shields and such. Well, this is not new. I can't. Amnesty has got to have known about this for quite some time, so they've come out to say this. And I think this is the White House, the collective West, but really that's at the White House, the Biden administration, wanting to distance themselves from this situation, because overall, a lot of military analysts, people on the ground, have really kind of given this about 2 to 4 weeks at best before, in general, the special operations that Russia is doing are complete. So it doesn't really matter if you send another $1 billion or not. It's done. Russia will be doing whatever part two is pretty soon. They've got Donbass and the north of Donbass. I forget the name of that area. Anyway, here's the thing. It's over. Russia pretty much has done what they wanted to do. It's time for Plan B. The Biden administration wants to save face, especially, so they pull out the um, uh, Amnesty International to say, oh, look, Zelensky's bad. They're doing bad things to civilians. And already the White House has put out some statements, or it wasn't the White House. I forget where I saw this. Sorry, I didn't click all the articles. I've looked at them. I just didn't pull them back up. But in general, there is an overall vibe that's being put out that Zelensky did not listen to the military strategy expert Biden on what to do. So I think we're going to see this come down to, he didn't do what military expert Biden did, General Biden. Zelensky didn't do it, and they're also bad guys. They've done war crimes, and we're going to basically just walk away from this. And I think that's what we're going to see happen. I mention this because I do think if this just basically dissolves, if the saber rattling goes away, Russia pretty much gets the territory they want, probably pulls out, but does leave a military presence. It's an occupation to some extent of Donbass and what's left of it. I mean, north of it, I forget. Sorry. It's just going to be done. It's going to be fine. It'll probably be a better world. And unfortunately, a lot of people died, and it sucks. People suffered, but the West only prolonged what was going to happen anyway. So this ending, good for the markets, good for me, good for you, good for everybody. And Ukraine can start rebuilding, because unfortunately they had a proxy war ripped through their country, which always sucks. Anyway, so looking at the whales and the crypto bull whales and bear whales in general, interesting day. A lot of longs getting wrecked, some shorts getting wrecked. In general, one thing I'm seeing about today, I am seeing a lot of like $1 million plus buys and sells, and like $1 million buys, $2 million buys. and sells also. I'm just seeing a lot of pushing. There's some money. There's some people kind of trying to nudge things back and forth a little bit. Definitely seeing the whales put some bigger buys than usual in, and sells. They're definitely trying to get some manipulation going on, and I'm seeing a lot of longs and shorts get wrecked. Look at these like volume spikes here. That's massive. That's definitely, as you can see, that like that dumped wrecked a lot of longs. As you can see that, and the purple ones are shorts. So definitely longs are getting kind of hammered today, and I've seen shorts do the same. So big money whales pushing the market. Some look like these $1 million buys, like $1 million buy, $2 million buy. More big buys here. Got some big sells in here, almost $1 million. They're just really pushing hard. Somebody wants the market to do something, and they're definitely putting in the volume to make it happen. Looking at FinViz here, since this is a market open day, the Dow is just now in the green. NASDAQ is still in the red, and the S&P 500 has been in the red. In general, interesting pattern today. It kind of opened with a little bit of perk, all the markets, but they didn't quite hold it. It's just not the best day. As you can see here, 44% bull, 56% bear, and that's basically looking at the next 5 minutes as a prediction. So we'll see what happens. One thing I always like to look at here is like to break down the S&P 500, and as you can see, it's pretty much in the red. It's funny, some days you get the whole thing kind of in the red, or which is basically not very green or in the red. It's not a very powerful day, and the energy, all the energy will be in the deep green. So it's funny. It's one of those days, whatever that means. Energy definitely in the green for the S&P 500, but the rest of it, it's pretty much potty today, except for banks. JPM doing just fine. Just in case you're worried about JP Morgan today, don't worry, they're all right. Okay, looking at Bitcoin trading volume today, 5.3 billion basically. Sorry, 5.3 billion. That is pretty darn rocking. That's good volume, especially going into a weekend. So we definitely have good Bitcoin volume explicitly. Looking at spot trading volume on the big exchanges, it's green, but not really green. This is Friday, so that's understandable. But if you look at Binance, the biggest one, it's only 1.5% up last 24 hours. So really kind of weak. If you look at the 7-day graph here, you can see we're starting to trail off. That's to be expected. It is weekend, but we're hitting the weekend pretty strong. That's pretty good volume for Bitcoin explicitly. And then, of course, also for spot trading pairs, or the rest of them, it's not looking too bad. Derivatives, basically longs and shorts with leverage, just over 50 billion on Binance. That's good enough. So pretty much we're hitting this Friday as we progress. Not that bad. Slight slowdown in volume on the on all the alt pairs on the big exchanges. That's kind of to be expected. Not doing too bad with the volatility of Bitcoin recently. I'm going to call this a pretty strong weekend that we're heading into, but we'll have to see how it rolls. Looking at the top 100 in general, most are in the green. Decred is doing really great. DCR up 26%. Last 24 hours. That's amazing. Neo doing well. Who else? Theta. Nice to see Theta up like 14-15%. Flow has been doing great, up 7.8% right now. Near Protocol up 16%. In general, we're doing pretty darn good. Little Dogecoin up 4.2%, and Shiba Inu up 2.5%. So we're doing okay. I like it. Strong going into the weekend. Here's the deal. With Bitcoin, looking at the daily chart here, this starts way back. This fib sequence starts way back, March of 2020. Okay, when we were down in the 3K range. So up we went, and as you can see, I have it highlighted right here. This is the 618 golden pocket. It's between the .618 and the .650, known as the 618 golden pocket. As you can see, Bitcoin has definitely bounced off the 618 a few times in this time frame. We tried to hold it a while ago, broke through, wicked down to the 786 fib level, and we've been moving up ever since. Had this nice little channel going. We're above the 50 moving average. If you see the yellow bars here, that's definitely some institutional money coming in, and you can see, like here's a good example of it. When that happens, when the institutional money, basically volume comes in, it can definitely affect Bitcoin. So right now we're seeing a nice little bump of the institutional money, and Bitcoin is moving up gradually. It takes a little bit more effort to pump it than it does dump it. So you can see back here, the institutional volume was coming in, they dumped it. Right now, the institutional volume is definitely present. and they're giving it a gradual, beautiful upwards channel off the 786. We'll probably find resistance when it hits the 618, but if it breaks above it, I think we're definitely going to be in party time. It's going to be a good day. This is that beautiful upwards channel that you're seeing. It's a 4-hour chart. You can see here these little blips, the red and the yellow. That's almost likely institutional money, just kind of hedging in, bong, 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 just keeping this beautiful uptrend going. Definitely today, as we looked at the longs and shorts, kind of the whales battling it out. Definitely some big money in, big money out, and we're seeing that volume for sure reflected here in the 4-hour chart. Here and there, we definitely have these little battles where money's being, as we can see, since the uptrend is continuing, money's being put in. On the 4-hour chart, we're above the 200 moving average and the 314 moving average. The 200 moving average, white one here, is above the 314, which is the blue one. That's good. That is bullish in general. This chart looks okay for a 4-hour chart, but we're kind of more sideways and upwards right now. It's all about will we actually bounce off the bottom of this channel and continue back up. We'll see. It's weekend, rolling into the weekend. I'm going to kind of sit on my hands unless I see a little bit more of I'm just kind of looking for good trades, but right now I'm just kind of looking forward to maybe just taking the weekend off trading unless things change. And one of the things that I want to see change is this. For one thing, I got an alert set. I think it's very important to be watching this. Daily MACD is negative right now. Put an alert in just like this and say MACD, MACD crossing MACD signal. Definitely essential. Put an alert in for that. When the daily MACD crosses positive, which, okay, so it's going to tell you just crossed. So it's in the process of, it's basically crossing. They're touching. If we kind of zero in, you can see they're kind of 1 to 1 right now. So let's see what happens. You can see the histogram is just starting to go negative. Or that may have been, might have just then had been a negative MACD cross. So you might want to put an alert in for like a positive MACD cross. Anyway, we need a positive MACD cross on the daily. Right now, it being negative, that is bearish. A lot of automated trading with good deal of money does trade in and out on the daily MACD, and even other time frames like the 2-hour and such like that. So just watch out. I'm just going to say that I do believe that some institutional money definitely does go right. It rides the MACD in and out. It's definitely something that their analysts are looking at, if nothing else. And if you do go back with the daily chart, look at big MACD crosses. They do usually correspond with big movements for Bitcoin. So right now I'm going to say Bitcoin's kind of more in bear mode than bull mode going into this weekend. If we get a positive MACD cross to the upside, and here on the 45-minute chart, we can break above and hold the this white moving average is the 200 moving average. If we can break above that and hold it, you can find some support there and continue up here on this upwards channel that we've been looking at, especially get above the mid-range of it. That's going to be good. But I want to see Bitcoin get above the 200 moving average on the 45-minute chart for at least 12 hours or so and look like it's going to stay there. And we'll see what happens. You can see some nice volume came in here earlier and did push it above the 10 moving average, but it could not hold it. So right now we'll see what happens. Stochastic RSI and KRI are perking up and kind of look like maybe we'll see maybe it is oversold right now. We'll see what happens. But beware, watch it. Basically 200 daily MACD, I want that to turn positive. And on the 45-minute chart, I want to see Bitcoin above the 200 moving average for about 12 hours or so. And then I'll feel more confident getting into all trades. Right now, I think as the weekend comes, we might be looking at, well, possibly some sweet buys at the bottom of a range of things you might be watching. So that's my take on it. But I kind of just see what dumps and how the market goes, or if it takes off, or if it dumps and takes off. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Positive MACD cross on the daily for Bitcoin. Bitcoin above the 200 moving average on the 45-minute chart for about 12 hours. Then I will see what's going on, and I'll be watching things and maybe hopping in some good trades. If I do so, I will try to get some videos up this weekend so we can. I'll let you know what I'm doing if I see some great setups. A memo to the Celsius community. Anybody who's aware of the Celsius situation knows that it's a big deal. They played around with the funds a little bit too liberally. Also, they were kind of attacked, but one way or the other, they halted withdrawals and they filed for bankruptcy. And it's an interest bearing and also where you get loans against crypto. I thought it was a good company, and I actually kind of still think they are. That it's made their mistakes I have confidence Celsius is probably going to come back. As a matter of fact, yeah, I did have some crypto on Celsius. I was moving it off, because they were getting some negative press, but I did not quite get it all off. And anyway, so I'm screwed for a little bit of cash. It's not going to kill me, but I've been watching Celsius since I have a bit of an investment in it, and it would be really good for the crypto market in general if Celsius did basically become solvent. I have a feeling someone's going to buy them or something. It's a good company. It's a big company. I think that they're very attractive, and I don't care who buys them, man. BlackRock can buy them for all I care. I'd rather see them in business than not. And here's what I'm thinking. Do insiders know? Not to be careful if I say this. I'm just asking a question. Do insiders know? Do you think they know that Celsius is going to be just fine? And here's why I say that. Okay, if Celsius was truly done, I think their chart would be potty, and that would be it. So the sell token, which Celsius is kind of like their native token. The thing is, we did see a bit of an explosion here back on like the 20th of June. Bam! It's this 4-hour chart. So big deal. We went above the 200, the 314. We blasted up there, and we've kind of been. And if you look, I mean, we did that with with looking at the that was big volume that came in that pushed that. So you see it back here on the 14th of June, and then it burst again on the 20th of June. Rather interesting. And it's been staying above here in the 4-hour chart, like above the 200 and 314, or kind of riding it. And now recently, what do we have here? We have some volume coming in. Got some nice, as you can see, somebody's messing around. Like we see this explosive volume here, pushed it up. Explosive volume here, pushed it up. Explosive volume here, dumped it and pushed it up. All these green, all these blue diamonds are 200 and 314 moving average crosses within like 2 candles or so. And so, as you can see with these big volume spikes, we've also had these collection of blitz candles, as we call them, little blue diamonds. They're a very, very bullish thing, along with also these little pink squares. That's just a 200 moving average cross. So we're seeing a lot of bullish stuff going on right here. And then what happened? Well, boom, got some more volume. Well, actually, it just sort of kind of appears to have a bit of a burst here of volume, but it reacted a little bit later after that. So you can see where it's starting to kind of cruise up. Now, and if you look at this chart, okay, I'm going to go on a daily here. Now I know, of course, yeah, Celsius definitely, the sell token took a hit. I mean, that's darn obvious, right? But as you can see here, this is a daily chart. So we've had this downtrend, of course, but now look at this big volume right here on the daily. That's institutional volume. I mean, they really can't hide it. I think it's institutional volume. And you can see ever since then, this is back on like the 13th of June, 14th of June, basically between like the 11th and 15th of June. And ever since then, what do you see here? You see your parallel channel. You see basically a upwards channel has been in play. You can go that wide if you want, or keep it like right about here. Anyway, I'll go like that. You've kind of seen, or let me trim it a little bit. There we go. Bam. Let's go like that. You can kind of see there's been an upwards channel ever since this burst of volume back there on the 11th to the 15th or so of June. So if Celsius was done, in my opinion, this is sell against the Celsius network, sell token against USDT. If it was done, I don't think you'd have this upwards action in the price action of a Celsius. I don't think you'd have this big institutional money coming in. That's how I see it. I really can't state it as fact. It just tends to be how it rolls. It's what usually is happening. Anyway, there you go. And let's go on the daily chart. We've got a green diamond here, which means all the EMAs on the Madrid ribbon candles are all red. So basically all green now. So it's kind of flipped very, very positive. And you can find that indicator over at bitcoindailyview.com. Just look for Madrid moving average ribbon. You'll find it right there. So that's flipped green on the daily. That's pretty powerful. I mean, and so like I say, if we go back to this 4-hour chart, you can see it riding up this little upwards channel on the 4-hour chart. We're above the 200 moving average. This is just very, very powerful. And if we switch to 45 minutes, we also are making a move. Once again, we've been staying above the 200 moving average, and right now we're making a move back above it. Actually, we're kind of holding just above it for a while. We've been above it ever since like the 19th of June. So anyway, definitely volatile, definitely a crazy time. But I just think looking at the sell versus USDT chart, and some of the bursts of institutional money that I think we're seeing come in, I just do not think it would be performing like this if it was done. And look, there's always insider trading. That's just the way it goes. I mean, that's the way life works. Somebody knows something that other people don't. And not all insider trading is necessarily evil. But we've had a downtrend. Definitely we dumped on the news, that's for sure. But now we have this nice little beautiful uptrend happening. It's pretty strong, and I just don't see any way the sell token would be kind of making a move upward like this. If somebody didn't know something, you wouldn't see the institutional money coming in if someone didn't know something. So I think basically somewhere behind the scenes we're seeing some deals, and I think there are people that know that Celsius network is going to be fine. And that's why we're seeing this upwards trend. And really basically pull up the sell versus USDT chart, watch it, and really I think especially just keep watching it. If we continue this uptrend, then definitely somebody knows something. We've seen an uptrend since the 12th of June, overall. And and even here you can see this is the SAM's candles. So you're seeing 3 totally bullish candles in a row. They're purple. That's an indicator called a SAM's candle. You'll see it over at bitcoindailyview.com. You can click it there, or just search for a SAM, basically what it's called. Yeah, candles by SAM. Just search for that on TradingView and you'll find it. So Celsius, I think it's doing pretty darn sparky. Somebody knows something. Please leave your comments and tell me what you think about sell. Okay, Celsius. Now, here's the thing. Some things are doing really great. Here's flow versus USDT. This sucker exploded. And this is definitely what's this here. That's institutional money probably pushing it up. Chart's looking really, really good. It's so extended, I don't quite want to get into it right now. I'm going to watch it this weekend, kind of for a bit of a retrace. I'm going to keep my eye on this thing and see what it does. But flow versus USDT on fire, insane. And where you actually could have bought it like right here too, following kind of my rules, which are kind of like blockchain education rules. Right here would have been a spot to buy. And if you hadn't kind of like sold there, bam, you'd be in the money right now. Once again, looking at kind of blockchain education rules, when would have been a time to buy? Right about here, especially with these purple candles. This happened pretty fast here on the 4-hour chart, but still, this is a spot that you could have gotten in, especially if you were drilling down to the 45-minute chart and looking a little bit closer. C98, whatever it is, I have no idea, but it does perform pretty well sometimes. I'm watching for this guy to retrace. Maybe I'll hop in. As you can see right here, institutional money most likely causing this, I think. Looking at LUNC, I have some friends that are playing LUNC right now, so I'll just look at it. LUNC versus USD, basically that's Binance count. Binance is a stable coin. A daily chart, I'm sorry, a 4-hour chart, it's just not that impressive right now. Some people have feelings, reasons why they think this will kick some ass. Right now we're seeing actual institutional burst here, bam, some big money. It's blue and greens. We're seeing very little volume right now going into the weekend. Overall, if you're waiting, I would, if you're dollar cost averaging into LUNC, then go for it, I guess. But I would just be careful. I think we might see some lowers. We might see this guy take a jump further down if the market does so. I've really watched here on the 45-minute chart and see if we can. How's that looking? The 45-minute chart, something one really could do is put an alert in and start watching for the watching for it to cross the 200 moving average. Sorry, where's my thing? Boom, mine's kind of in a weird place. So maybe on the 45-minute chart or the hourly chart, watch for it to break above the 200 moving average and stay there, find some support and get a stronger chart. If you really want to buy the confirmed uptrend, if you happen to be dollar cost averaging into it, well, you might get a chance for some better buys this weekend. How's the squeeze indicator looking? Yeah, it's perking up a little bit. Anyway, not a real positive chart from a trader's perspective, but if you are dollar cost averaging in, not a bad time. You might get some better buys in this weekend. It looks like it might be looking at the squeeze indicator, binary candles, KRI and stochastic RSI. Also, the traditional indexes and the grain 8x is kind of low. But overall, it's got a pretty powerful sideways. But you might get a better buy this weekend if the market dumps. Dollar cost average, if you so desire. Wait for that 200 moving average cross if you want to get the confirmed uptrend, and wait for a confirmed uptrend. But if you do think that Luncy is going to pump, this kind of action like happened back here could very easily happen. And then, well, you might not get in as early as you want. So if you dollar cost averaging Luncy, good weekend to do so all weekend and see if you can get that sweet spot. Because it might just do one of these. Like I say, this is kind of insider stuff, not insider trading, but just I'm doing this for a few people that are watching Luncy very closely. Expect it to possibly go to the moon real quick. Anyway, remember, everybody, for Bitcoin Satoshi, you own a piece of shit. Globalist cries, and that is a beautiful thing. So I'm just stacking sats. I'm working on making gains this weekend. Just kind of sitting here chilling, meditating, watching the apocalypse. Believe me, it seems to be happening on so many levels. I don't know if you're feeling it, but I'm feeling it energetically. And, feeling weird and feeling kind of off is the new normal if you are a sensitive person or an aware person or whatever. If you're a Bitcoin truth seeker, you're definitely one of those. So Bitcoin truth seekers, thank you for being part of the peaceful revolution. And I will see you as soon as I hop back on again. Take care.